Nestled on the fringes of a town lost to time, our family's ancestral mansion stood as a monolith of bygone splendor and secrets untold. A testament to the family's once glorious past, the Victorian mansion was a complex tapestry of architectural marvels and historical enigmas. Its presence was commanding, with its Gothic spires piercing the gray skies, and its facade, a collage of gargoyles and intricate stonework, was a silent witness to centuries past. Each Thanksgiving, our family convened at this mansion, a tradition as old as the house itself. As a child, I was enamored with its grandeur. The mansion, with its sprawling corridors, was like a realm from a storybook. Its walls, adorned with oil paintings of stern ancestors, seemed to hold countless tales. The grand staircase with its ornate balustrades led to rooms each with its own character, some warm and inviting, others cold and forbidding. The mansion's garden, a labyrinth of overgrown hedges and forgotten statues, was a testament to nature reclaiming its territory. The once meticulously tended roses and lilies now lay hidden under the untamed wild, creating an ethereal yet melancholic landscape. But it was the mansion's hidden facets that intrigued me most. Secret passages behind bookcases, a hidden room beneath the grand staircase, and a narrow spiral staircase leading to a dusty attic filled with relics of our family's past. These were the playgrounds of my youth, where imagination ran wild and every discovery felt like unearthing a piece of history. However, as I grew older, the mansion's allure transformed into something more sinister. Its charm faded, revealing an unsettling atmosphere. The whispers of the past grew louder, and the eyes in the portraits seemed to follow my every move with a knowing gaze. The air became heavier, filled with the weight of untold stories and unspoken truths. Our family's Thanksgiving tradition was peculiar. Each year, a family member was chosen through a secretive process to prepare the Thanksgiving feast, a role that carried an air of solemn duty. But this was no ordinary culinary task. The chosen one had to venture into the mansion's depths, to a cellar as old as the house itself, to retrieve a special ingredient, a jar of a dark, unidentifiable paste, kept under lock and key in a cabinet that whispered of ancient times. This ingredient, cloaked in mystery, was said to be integral to the feast, a family heirloom passed down through generations. The cellar, accessible only through a narrow door hidden behind a tapestry in the dining hall, was a place few dared to venture. Descending the creaking wooden stairs, one would find themselves in a space untouched by time. The air, thick with the mustiness of aged wood and stone, clung to one's skin. The only light, a flickering bulb, cast elongated shadows, creating an ambience that was both haunting and mesmerizing. The cellar was a repository of family history, its shelves lined with jars of preserved fruits and vegetables, wines aging in their racks, and old family artifacts. But it was the locked cabinet in the far corner that drew the eye. Carved from dark wood, with iron fittings corroded by time, it stood as a silent guardian of the family's most closely guarded secret. It was in this setting that the chosen family member would fulfill their role in our bizarre tradition, unknowingly perpetuating a legacy that was as dark as it was enduring. As the years passed and I transitioned from child to adult, the mansion's secrets began to weigh heavily on me, an ominous prelude to the chilling revelations that would soon unravel. My fate as the chosen one was sealed during a particularly overcast Thanksgiving. The air was thick with anticipation and the subtle undercurrents of a long-held family secret. I remember the drawing of lots, a ritualistic ceremony where the elder of our family, with hands as gnarled as the mansion's bare branches, shuffled and distributed the ornate age-yellowed cards. The moment my fingers brushed against the card marked with my name, a chill coursed through me, a premonition of the ominous journey ahead. As the hour approached, I found myself standing before the tapestry in the dining hall, its threads depicting a hauntingly vague and foreboding scene of a harvest under a blood-red moon. Pushing it aside, I revealed the narrow door that led to the depths below. Descending the cellar stairs was akin to stepping into another world, a realm where time stood still, and the echoes of the past resonated within the cold stone walls. The flickering bulb did little to dispel the darkness that seemed to ooze from the very pores of the cellar. Each step taken was a descent not just into the physical depths of the mansion, but into the depths of our family's enigmatic past. The cellar air was damp and heavy, filled with the sense of earth and something else. Something ancient and unnameable. The shelves were lined with relics of bygone eras, dusty bottles of wine whose labels had long faded, and jars of preserves, their contents obscured by the passage of time. But it was the locked cabinet that drew me inexorably towards it, as if it were calling out to me. A siren song that promised answers yet filled me with dread. With the heavy iron key in hand, a family heirloom in its own right, I approached the cabinet. Its wood was dark and imposing, the carvings on its surface depicting scenes of harvests and feasts, but with an unsettling, almost sinister twist. The faces of the figures were contorted, caught between ecstasy and agony. As I unlocked the cabinet, the creak of its hinges was a mournful moan that seemed to reverberate through the cellar. Inside lay the jar, its glass dark and smudged with age. The contents, a thick, dark paste, appeared inert yet seemed to pulsate with a life of its own under the dim light. Lifting the jar, I felt a coldness seeping through its surface. A coldness that seemed to spread up my arm and clutch at my heart. The very air around me felt charged, as if the opening of the cabinet had awoken something that lay dormant. That evening, as the family gathered around the dining table, the jar took its place at the center, a silent testament to the tradition we upheld. The meal prepared with the dark paste was met with praises and exclamations of delight at its unique flavor. Yet, as I watched my family partake in the feast, a sense of unease gnawed at me. The jar, with its mysterious contents, sat there like a malevolent entity, its presence a dark cloud over the festivities. It was only later, when the mansion lay silent in the aftermath of the celebration, that I stumbled upon the truth. In the attic, amidst the clutter of forgotten memories and discarded heirlooms, I found the journals. Their pages, yellowed with age, contained the frantic, almost delirious writings of my ancestors. The words, scrawled in a trembling hand, spoke of a pact with an entity that dwelled beneath the mansion, a creature of shadows and whispers. The dark paste was its offering, a concoction of unimaginable ingredients, given in exchange for the family's continued prosperity and health. As I read the journals, a sickening realization dawned on me. The tradition we had so blindly followed was not just a quaint family custom, but a binding contract with something ancient and malevolent. We were not just descendants of a storied lineage. We were custodians of a dark legacy that demanded a tribute we never fully understood. The revelation shook me to my core. The mansion, with its hidden passageways and secret rooms, was no longer a place of childhood wonder but a prison housing a terrible secret. The cellar, once a source of intrigue, now felt like the mouth of a dark abyss, echoing with the silent screams of a pact made in desperation and sustained in ignorance. And so, the chosen one's duty, once a role of honor, became a burden that weighed heavily on my soul. I was a participant in a ritual that bound us to a creature of darkness, a tradition that shackled us to a fate we could neither escape nor fully comprehend. The truth about our family's Thanksgiving tradition, once unmasked, cast a pall over my existence. As subsequent Thanksgivings approached, the mansion felt more like a stage for a macabre play in which we, the unwitting actors, were compelled to perform our parts. The tradition's once warm and festive spirit was now overshadowed by the cold truth of our family's bond with the entity beneath the house. My role in the subsequent feasts was that of a silent observer, watching my family partake in the ritual meal with a mix of detachment and internal turmoil. As the years passed, the burden of the truth began to fray the edges of our family bonds. Whispers and sidelong glances replaced open conversations. The once joyous reunions turned into somber gatherings, where the unspoken truth lingered like a ghost at the feast. We were bound not just by blood, but by a shared secret, a legacy of darkness that none dared to challenge. The revelation of the Pact also cast new light on the mansion itself. Its hidden passages and secret rooms, once sources of wonder, now seemed like conduits for the creature's unseen influence. The portraits of our ancestors, their eyes following me with knowing looks, felt like silent judges, condemning us for our part in this ongoing pact. The prosperity that had once been a source of pride now felt like a tainted gift, its value diminished by the knowledge of its true cost. As the latest Thanksgiving approached, the ritual felt more like a funeral rite than a celebration. The mansion, with its oppressive atmosphere and shadowed corners, seemed to be closing in on us, a physical manifestation of the trap our family was caught in. We were ensnared not only by the walls of the house, but by the web of tradition and secrecy that bound us to the creature that lurked beneath. And so, we continued the tradition, each feast a reminder of the pact that bound us to a fate we could not escape. The legacy of our family, once a source of pride, had become a curse, a dark thread woven through the tapestry of our lives. We were prisoners of our own making, held captive by a tradition that demanded our compliance and a creature that fed on our acquiescence. In the end, the true horror of our family's Thanksgiving tradition was not just the creature that lurked beneath the mansion or the dark pact that sustained it. It was the realization that we were complicit in its continuation, bound by blood and tradition to a legacy that would forever haunt us, a legacy that whispered in the shadows of the mansion and echoed in the depths of our own souls.